Here's my question to you.
Mm.
And we could do it now, or we could talk about it later on after we break down the second quarter of the season. Which, if you're looking at this schedule, who has more of an advantage, the Bills' opponents or the Bills, based off of there's no film on Joe Brady's offense, right? You got a lot of new parts on defense for the Bills. I feel like with defense, we know what we're going to get. Even if we have new safeties, I think we know what we're going to get. We have the linebacking core that we're going to talk heavily about here in a minute. We know what's that. The defensive line, we know, I think, the guys that we have there. Do you think it's a disadvantage for the opposing teams because they have no idea what kind of offense the Bills are going to roll out? Because preseason-wise, they're not going to show anything. It's going to be vanilla as shit in preseason, like, you know, it has been the past few years. But what's your take on that? Is that am I a conspiracy theorist? Am I going too deep off the edge? Like, is it a good theory? What do you think?
So put the schedule back up right quick. Let me see something. So if we're looking at the Buffalo Bills schedule, a team week one, like the Arizona Cardinals, that's a rebuilding team themselves. They're going through a transition themselves. I think that favors the Buffalo Bills. But when you look at the Miami Dolphins, you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, you look at the Baltimore Ravens, these teams. I know Jacksonville Jaguars has made some significant changes and pieces in terms of their wide receiver room and certain things, but those three teams, they have their core in place, and they had their core in place for a number of years now. We know Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and that offense in the Baltimore Ravens. We know the type of defense they're going to play. We know the Jacksonville Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence and Etienne, how they're going to play. We know with the Miami Dolphins and Tua, and they got all the speedy receivers and running backs and added Odell Beckham. So their core is in place. In my opinion, the teams that we're going to face more than us, we're a team in transition, and I believe it's dependent on how Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills respond to the transition that they're in. This is no longer a team where it has a rookie quarterback in Josh Allen, and they surrounded their rookie quarterback with veteran pieces to speed up their progression for the rookie quarterback. It's now in a transition of veteran quarterback, superstar at quarterback, and now we have young players at the skill positions. Now we have new players at the skill positions, and we're going to hope that Josh Allen is the guy that can help progress the skill players around him, as opposed to the veteran presence he had as a rookie that was helping along his progression. So to answer that, it all depends on how the Buffalo Bills handle their transition they're in early on in the season.
I think it's twofold, because we can say that, well, no teams have film on Joe Brady in this offense, but we also have a lot of new parts that need to pick up the system. And how long is that transition going to take? Is it going to be just constantly a work in progress to figure out who your go-to guys are? Is it going to be the offensive line needs to gel? Is it going to be a straight running game one week? Is it going to be, a slug it out match where nothing's working and you have to do adjust on the fly stuff? So it's easy to say that the Cardinals is a win, right? Because of who the Cardinals were last year. Like you said, it's easy to say that. It's easy to say that Josh Allen owns the Miami Dolphins. Well, you know what? It seems like every year they're getting closer and closer and closer to competing with the Bills for that AFC East. And a lot of the national media is saying that this is the year that they can overtake the Bills because of the transition that the Bills are in as far as the youth movement and stuff like that. So I'll put the schedule back up. Week 5, I could have sworn this game would have been a primetime game so they could push the Diggs narrative down our throats for a full week. Josh Allen's going into Houston. Oh, it's the battle of the former best friends, but no, it's a 1:00 game on a Sunday, which I actually like, because then we can get it out of the way early, and then we can watch the rest of the NFL the rest of the day. And then another primetime game, the New York Jets in New York on Monday Night Football, and then you got Tennessee, the Titans coming to Buffalo, and then you round out the first half, technically the first half, going to Seattle. So how do you feel about this stretch right here? These 4 games here, if the Bills after week 8 are 4-4, how are you feeling now?
4-4 after week 8. I'm a little concerned.
Agreed.
I would want at worst I'm thinking 5-3. Now
5-3.
all these games are winnable, right? But we could have said that for years. All the games was winnable last year. It doesn't mean we was going to win them. So 5-3 in my opinion is about where I would want to be. Now, of course, it's easier said than done, right? We have the transition between the players. We have transition with coaches. If with Joe Brady, his first year being an offensive coordinator, we have Bob Babish. We can't forget over there on the defensive side of the ball. Will he call plays? It might be a new defensive system. And even though everybody is in the same culture and the same system, how Sean McDermott may call plays may be different from how Bobby Babish called plays. So that's something we have to take into account as well. So it's a lot of transition from players to coaches to defense to offensive side of the ball that the Buffalo Bills, we hope, can adjust on the fly. And while they're adjusting, they're winning games doing so.
So this Spin brings up a good comment, and I was literally, because when I see, he says the Jets are coming off the Germany game right before they play the Bills. So I was going to bring that up because when I see the schedule come out, the first thing I look at is the travel from the opposing teams when they come to Buffalo. If there's teams coming off of buys when they play Buffalo, I look into all that stuff because it's little mini advantages for the Bills, right? Because it's a long 17-week or 18-week grueling season, right? So if the Bills aren't 5-3 after week 8, I'm going to have pause for concern.
Who ready? We ready. Who ready? Who? We ready.